You're listening to the Quoted Podcast Season 16. Now, let's get on to today's episode. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Quoted Podcast. Welcome to another episode. This week I'm joined with Stryder again, so welcome back.
Yeah, it feels good to be back. It feels good. The last time we talked was a really good time, so.
Yeah. I guess for anyone who forgot who you were, do you want to reintroduce yourself?
Yeah, I'll do that. So my name is Stryder Janich, and I post on Instagram. I try to do it daily. I'm a Christian speaker, Christian person. That's what I really call it. And I have a heart for youth ministry, a heart for evangelism, and just overall ministry in general. So, yeah, that's me.
Okay, cool. And for anyone who wants to go follow Stryder, I'll link his Instagram below. He posts some really good preaching videos with some good encouragement. And in our first episode, we talked about that. So if you want to go check that out also, you can. But today, we're doing a Valentine's themed episode because Valentine's Day is the day after this comes out. So I'm going to start with the quote of the episode, which says, "We have all the love we will ever need in Christ." So, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about? What does it mean?
Yeah, honestly, when I first heard this quote, it was pretty simple to think about. A lot of us try to chase the relationships we have in the world. We try to trace friendships, romantic relationships. We try to trace all these different things, and I'm like, we have all we need in Christ. Like Christ created love, He created life, and so why are we chasing other people's validation before we chase Christ, So, yeah, it's deep, and it's something that I feel like if every single person looked at it and actually applied it to their life would be totally different. So, yeah.
Yes. No, it's such a simple little sentence, but it means so much because really, yeah, you're right. All we need is Christ's love, but I feel like we're always searching for human love that's going to satisfy us, and nobody's going to love us more than Christ. So,
Yeah.
I thought we would start off with that just to get us into the rest of the questions. So,
yeah, it's a very deep topic, honestly. So
it is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to Valentine's Day, I feel like there's always stigma or whatever to be in a relationship, but there are a lot of people that are still single. So, what would you say to someone who's single on Valentine's Day, to encourage them or remind them it's okay to be single?
Yeah, I mean, I personally am single on Valentine's Day, so I would tell them the way I feel it, the way I see it. It's okay to not have someone in your life that's romantic. You have all these friendships, you have all these people in your life. It's okay to not have that special someone that's romantic.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I would say that don't look at it as a bad thing. Look at it as a good thing. A time to learn, a time to grow, a time to as a man be a better man, as a woman be a better woman. So when you meet the right person, you're ready and you're prepared. And then also go on a date yourself. I personally do that in Memphis. I purposely go out by myself, maybe every 2 weeks. I go to a restaurant, go to a movie, I do something by myself. You learn to love yourself. Once you learn to love yourself, you're pretty much you're set. You got God and you love yourself because God created you. So yeah, it's okay to be single.
Yes.
There's so much stigma around it. I don't know why, but
yes, totally. Because yes, sometimes it sounds cool to be in a relationship, but when you don't know, if you don't have anyone to date and you're just single, it's your time to shine and just learn to love yourself and strengthen your relationship with God too. And
yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah. It's something I've been learning recently and trying to do more things by myself as well because you really don't need a significant other to be happy and to live your life. So, yeah, for anyone out there who just wants a boyfriend or girlfriend so bad. I hope this episode is a reminder to live in the moment and not wish for things that you don't have when it's not time for them yet. Okay, what advice would you give people on guarding their hearts and not settling for less when it comes to relationships?
Yeah, this ties into the previous question pretty much. Like if you're
Mhm.
single, a lot of people, a lot of Christians, they try to run towards relationships like that. They'll go to anyone that gives them
Yes.
validation or gives them attention. And I'm even myself. I even did this myself for a few years, like from like the age of 16 till I was like 18. I purposely like tried to chase relationships. I thought that I would have more value as a man, and more validation from people. But all it causes like stress and insecurities and anxiety and all these things. And like I said before, you should be blessed to be single. If you're single, you should know that it's a blessing. You should know
Mhm.
that it's not a bad thing. You can grow from it. And then to guard your heart, like you should you should have priorities. You should be a very high priority person when it comes to relationships. People try to tell you shouldn't have high standards and all that stuff. That's a lie. You should have high standards, but at the same time,
Yes.
have a specific list for someone. You should have,
Mhm.
Christian, able to be mature and all these things, but you shouldn't have like appearances and all that stuff. And that's kind of where your heart comes in. Your heart kind of goes in that same setting where you're guarding your heart. You're not judging someone based off how they look or how they you know how they appear, but you're judging on what their heart's saying. The same way you're judging your own
Mhm.
heart, you got to guard it. And so yeah, you got to set up boundaries. And whether that's just talking to friends about these things, or it's having an accountability partner or something like that, just don't ruin your purity for someone else that's not worth it. That's something that a lot of people have told me on Instagram or whatever. They've lost their purity, lost their virginity, whatever it was, and it's because the person like pretty much used it, took away their purity and all that stuff. And I'm
Mhm.
like, it's such a gift. You have a blessing to have that still, and so don't settle for less. Don't try to give away something that's a blessing from God. Because you'll regret it. So
Yeah, that's really good because I feel like when people just want a relationship so bad, it's so easy to just like one guy comes up to you and asks you for your number and like, "Oh my gosh, he's the one." Or girl if you're a guy, but like you can't just think that one person asking you for your number means that they're going to be your true love or whatever. And yeah,
hmm
you really need to guard your heart because you don't deserve someone who's just going to throw you to the curb or cheat on you or something. So it's really important to like get to know people and not just give everything to them and stuff cuz like everyone deserves better.
yeah, high standards aren't a bad thing. Like
Yeah,
they're not bad.
they aren't. Yeah, and it's good to know what you're looking for in a guy and to make sure that you're not settling for someone who isn't at the top of your list.
Exactly. Yep.
So, um going away from relationships like with significant others, I was thinking we could talk about like siblings and when we're mad at our family members
hmm
and they've done something that really annoys us. How do you still love them and forgive them? And what are some of your tips on not seeking revenge, whether it's family member or maybe even a friend?
Yeah, yeah, because relationships in general aren't just romantic; they're mostly actually friendships and family members,
Yes.
which those are oftentimes harder than romantic relationships, which is crazy to say. Relationships are hard to, you know, be Christ-like, if I say the least. But I don't know. I've had issues with my siblings before. I think everyone has. It's kind of how it is.
Mhm.
The way I see it, the way I've been trying to do things recently, because growing up, I was a pretty big, older brother to my little sister. I was kind of a jerk. I was kind of like a instigator, like I on her all that stuff, and I kind of regret not like trying to do more things. So I try to be a mentor to my younger siblings and even my older siblings. I try to be the best guy I can be for that. But also, like if there's like pain, if there's issues, we try to we try to avoid these things as a family. We try to not talk about these things. We try to make it look like everything's okay. Especially like as a pastor's kid, for me, we try to make it look like everything's okay. We're a perfect, picture perfect family, but we're not. No one is, and it's
Mhm.
taking times those steps to actually want to talk to each other in a community in a personal way that you achieve growth. But I was blessed to have a good family, a loving family. I was blessed by that, and throughout the struggle, the stuff that's happened in my life, I still felt like I wasn't fully alone and that kind of stuff. But if someone out there's watching and have like a abusive family or something that's happened in their life, I would recommend not staying in that comfort zone, that area, that place. I recommend either not moving out because it's you have to, but moving out because you
Mhm.
need to help you grow, and then eventually go back to the subject of talking to them, trying to work things out. But you can only do so much in a relationship. You can do the best you can, but
Yes.
the other person doesn't want to do it, and you got to live with that. You got to deal with that. You got to deal with it. And so yeah, that's the way I would tackle it in general. And then when it comes to like, because to me, like, if a person like a troll on the internet, you get trolls on the internet. I get a ton.
Yeah.
I get a lot of comments. I get a lot of hate mail, whatever you want to call it, in the DMs. I don't mind that. Like, it's fine. It's cool. But if a personal person said it to me, like one of my friends or a family member or something like that, even said like a little bit thing that's like discouraging, I feel way
Mhm.
more pain. Someone could say to me that I don't know. So it's
Yeah.
hard. Like, it's hard to forgive people that are close to you, and it's hard to want to go back to them because they hurt you and you trusted them more than anything. But I've definitely tried to have an open ear, because everyone makes mistakes. I've made mistakes as a friend as well, and I can't let my anger and my pride and my revenge feelings to get in the way of a good friendship and a good community I have. So that's the way I see it.
Mhm. And I also think being patient with people, because sometimes someone said something to me or maybe done something that has really bothered me, and I can easily get mad at them, or I can just take a minute to think about what happened and how I'm going to respond and how I'm going to move on, because sometimes people that you think are your best friends are going to do something and it's going to really hurt. But if you want to keep up with that friendship, you have to respond in a good manner and not get mad at them, because we are called to love. And it's a good reminder that sometimes you need to just be patient with people and not yell at them.
It's hard. It sounds easier than it is. But
Yeah.
I also will say that, like, if your friends or people in your life are trying to lead you towards ungodly things, then in a loving way, you got to cut them off. You can still be with them in
Yes.
a community. You can still hang out with them, maybe, but not one on one. You got to cut them off. Like, that's something I realized through
Mhm.
the past few, especially starting the social media page and all that stuff. Like, I have to cut people off all the time, and I'm not like leaving them undelivered or leave them alone or whatever. I have to literally let them be. I have to leave them alone or them
Mhm.
leave me alone. I have to literally tell them to, because if they plant this kind of seed, this kind of insecurity, this kind of doubts that they've been planting, like they'll say something like, "Oh, how are you gonna make money by this? How are you gonna do this? You're not a real Christian, this or that." And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, please, like, I'm trying my best. I'm a Christian guy. I'm trying my best. I go to Jesus daily. Like, I don't need this kind of doubt in my life, if that makes sense. Like, I'll still have them, or you should still
Yes.
have a community, but you shouldn't be close with them.
Mhm. Yeah, you're totally right. Like, there are some people that you need to like just either take a break from or cut off completely, because they're just not adding anything to your life. So, how would you say that you seek to love like God on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, it's hard to love like God. I don't think anyone will love like God. Jesus
Yeah.
was amazing. Jesus was the guy. Um, he was obviously God, but the Trinity. But I think,
Mhm.
to me, loving like God is loving people that hurt you the most. That's kind of where I see it
Ooh.
as.
Yes.
Like, I do a lot of ministry in Memphis by myself. I like pray for people all the time. I talk to strangers, homeless people, whatever, and that's easier than talking to people that have done me wrong. Whether it's friends or just people in
Mm.
general who've said things, like, it's harder to love people like that. And then loving like God means loving someone that you've God created everyone, so God knows the heart of everyone and knows everyone has a little bit of good in them. So it's loving every single person the best you can. That's the way I see
Mhm.
it. Because God's love is personal. Like if you let it, like it's the most personal, true love you can have. And so why would I, if I'm trying to be a Christian, if I'm trying to be like God, trying to be like Jesus, I'm not trying to be these things. Why would I not love people personally and not love people closely who've done me wrong? Because at the end of the
Mhm.
day, forgiveness, like you know how it is. Like when you have a grudge for someone, you're holding something in. It's doing more damage to yourself than the other person. Like you're holding these bitter
Yes.
in, and so yeah, I want to love everyone that I can, and that includes every single whether it's an atheist, a person who doesn't believe in God, a person, whatever it is. I want to love them, like Christ. So yeah.
Okay. I feel like that kind of ties into the last question, and
Mm-hmm.
it makes me think of patience and forgiveness again, because like when you said like atheists and or people that like, don't agree with you, sometimes people can be so mean, but you just have to remember that they could be going through something or they don't know who God is, and you have to show them how you're going to react and
Mm-hmm.
make that reaction a reaction of love instead of hate, which can be hard sometimes when people make you mad. But yeah, that's another good reminder for everyone
Mm-hmm.
listening. So, this is kind of the same, but what is some advice that you would give someone to live their life in love more than hate? Or like is there anything that you do to try to love others better?
Yeah.
Anything else?
It's not really the same question. It's like a bounce off of the question. So
Okay.
um, yeah, I was always an angry person growing up. I was kind of a bitter person. Through a lot of stuff that happened in my life, I kind of held grudges on a lot of people, and that didn't affect anyone else but me. Like I said before, you hold it in your heart as bitterness, and it
Mhm.
kind of just stays in there. Um, and you know, these things that you hold in, like they're only ruining yourself. As I said many times,
Mhm.
it's a dark pit, and you're never going to grow closer to God if you hold on to these grudges. Like you got to figure out the family member that did you wrong, the friend that did you wrong, the teacher that did you wrong, whoever did you wrong. You got to forgive them. And
Yes.
being a man or being a Christian, whatever it is, of love means forgiving those who done you wrong and turning the cheek, pretty much.
Mhm.
Like um, I try to be the best person I can be, the best man I can be, and I still fail. But people will see that I'm still trying. Whether you're seeing this and you feel the same way, where you try and you feel like no one's watching you, people still watch you. People notice your actions and the way you're carrying yourself. Tell you, so keep on going, keep on trying to be that person, be that Christian. So yeah.
Also, some like things you can do to help you love people better is spend more time in the word and spend more time with God, because at the end of the day God is love, and if you want to stop being so angry all the time and hateful, you got to spend time with God and learn and read about his love. um so that's another thing also. Okay, last question. How do you think people can express love to others through words and actions in general?
Yeah, well, there's a saying that people say. It's like love is a verb, love is
Mhm.
an action. So um, it goes so far. Like if someone even tells me something that like they say something like, "Hey, I love the way you preached today. I love the way you were talking. I like the way whatever." A compliment that goes so far in a person's life that we don't see. Like
Yes.
even yourself, if you give someone a compliment or you tell someone something, and they don't really like act like they're receiving it. They will receive it because people. You never
Mhm.
know what people's days are like. You never know what people's life's been like, and the smallest things can make the biggest difference. And it's the same with words too. Like a text message goes a long way. Like when people text me or people tell me something, words of encouragement or just whatever it is, like I keep that thing. I screenshot it and I literally keep it. Like people have no idea how much words mean to me.
Mhm.
They mean to others. Like I said before, it's the same way. That's a beautiful gift about social media is that we can text almost anybody, and they'll respond or they'll see it. And people do that to troll. People do that to do hate comments and all that stuff. But you can also do it to spread love, and
Yes.
people still receive that through that.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, like that's such a beautiful thing about social media though. Like the fact that we can, text someone from Africa, from USA, and just and they still like
Yeah.
spread the gospel. So yeah, it's cool.
I think it's so easy to just make someone's day. Like all you have to do is compliment their outfit. Maybe even hold the door open for them or just
Hmm.
have a conversation with a stranger. Like it's so easy to make someone's day, but I feel like with social media, it's also easy to be mean to people. That's one thing that really bothers me about social media, which is why I'm always like trying to be positive. And through this episode, I hope this is a reminder that you don't need to spread hate comments and stuff because it's never gonna help anything. It's always gonna hurt something.
I was gonna say you never know like what someone's going through. Like if you're just gonna troll someone on the internet, you never know what someone's going through like in their
Yeah,
life. Just that one hate comment can send them off. Like you have no idea. So,
words go such a long way. So instead of taking that second to hate on someone, post something nice. Like even if you hate what they posted, give them a few heart emojis. Like just be nice. It's not that hard. So, I think that is where we're going to like end off today to
cool,
just
cool.
go. I think everyone should go and try to compliment someone today and make their day better.
Amen to that.
um, do you have anything else to add?
Well, enjoy Valentine's Day, even though this is after Valentine's Day. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys know that it's okay to be single, like we talked about. It's okay to feel,
Mhm.
these signs, and you'll find someone eventually. Someone will come in your life, but right now is a growing season, so don't forget that God's trying to place you and trying to grow you, and so don't waste the time. Don't waste it. So yeah,
Yes. Yes. And don't forget to go check out Stryder's Instagram, which will be linked below, because maybe his videos will encourage you. Okay, thanks for listening to this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. Come back next Thursday for another guest episode. But yeah, that's all. So bye for now. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Quoted Podcast. Come back next Thursday for more.